Hello, my boils, my ghouls, and my zools. Welcome back to Kalash. Today's topic was actually inspired by a commenter. And the comment was on a rifle I used a few years ago at Kalashnikon in the Kalashnikon Winter Tactical Games. And the rifle I used was a Bulgarian 74 with a full set of Crook furniture on it. Crook as in Crook. A lot of you guys know him as KPYK. It's pronounced Crook. That's Kruk in Ukrainian. This was a couple of years ago. Couldn't really get Crook stuff. I mean, you'd see every now and again, maybe once every couple of years at the time, I would see someone with something from Crook. But really, at the time, all anybody knew of Ukrainian stuff was Svetogor. And Svetogor has been long gone and very expensive for a very long time for what amounts as pretty much it's like a financial prank. I mean, those were Bulgarian magazines where they put a window in them, lasered Svetogor on them, and sold them. For some reason, people were fucking stoked on these things and were not even kidding you. If you're not aware of Svetogor magazines, at the moment they're fetching $350. You could have had a meme mags when windowed mag that like it's pretty much the same thing, just a different dude. He does Svetogor knockoffs. They are literally functionally the same exact thing. Bulgarian with a window and some lasering on it. Not a huge deal. Yeah, these things are going for $350. So that's really all anybody knew at the time of Ukrainian gear. And, you know, still to this day, a lot of people still talk about Zenitco. And that's where this is going. I guess it's kind of a Zenico versus Crook video, but not really. This was just inspired by a comment so the comment in question said too broke for Zenico. Okay, actually, I'm not paraphrasing. I'm actually adding on to it. It said broke for Zenico question mark, implying that I'm too broke for Zenico. I mean, this was a couple of years ago, so as I commented back, at the time, you would have been too broke for Crook. So let's get that straight. Also, at the time, I was the guy that was traveling around the country doing matches out of my own pocket, buying a couple cases of ammo a month. How I was affording to do that, I'm still not even fucking clear. But, I did that, so whatever. It's not like my ego is hurt from somebody saying, uh, broke for Zenitco, no. Uh, Really where this is going is I actually just wanted to talk about the quality of Zenico and the quality of Crook and really some more of that whole how the gun industry lies to you sort of thing. It's not really. I mean, it's not really because it's more like how how are we as gun consumers fucking stupid? So a lot of people they know that the popularity of Zentico is pretty much down to two things: Jim Fuller and Escape from Tarkov. So like that the Jim Fuller thing started. I mean, and obviously don't do that anymore. There's sanctions, but when this was stuff was first coming in, it was very exciting, and nobody had really seen a whole lot of aftermarket for AKs at the time. Really, I'm trying to think what you had prior to Zenitco in the U.S. I think you did have that TDI X47, pretty innovative at the time. That was an old school piece of gear. Not a lot of people realize how old that thing is. I want to get one for myself if they're still available. I hope they are. But anyhow, sorry for my rambling. Just doing the weave. Anyhow, so it's Jim Fuller, very influential guy. Um, fellow guitar player. He started showing off some rifles with some Zenitco. And well, people were pretty excited about it, to say the least. Me, I just looked at it as like, damn, that's a crazy looking AK. It didn't personally ever really excite me one way or the other. I was just more of the that's some crazy looking shit kind of attitude. Um, and also, yeah, you did have Escape from Tarkov, which has been around for many, many, many years now, really aiding in the popularity of Zenitco. And was there a reason to be excited about the stuff? Well, I mean, if you were an AK owner back in the day, there wasn't a whole lot available. So yeah, of course, it was something to be excited about. But these days, not 2008 anymore. It's not 2015 anymore. It's 2024 now. You have a lot of options. You have, on the American side of it, you have like Midwest Industries doing stuff. You know, that TDI X47 is back in production, so you can buy them again. I don't know if they're going to continue to produce them, but I know they made another run of them. So go check that out. Even though technically an Israeli company, they're based in California. Um, so you got let's see what else you got around. Oh, you got Molotov Manufacturing. Got to mention him. You got oh, of course. I said Midwest Industries. Should probably say the father of them all. UTG. They're the ones making a lot of handguards for a lot of fucking people. There is RS Regulate. You have a lot of options here from the U.S. market. Internationally, you do have other options. There's a weird one. What is it? It's called like AK1 or something like that. I think it's like Finnish. Fucking pretty rare shit. You can get it here in the U.S. There's that. You have Armacon out of Russia. You'd have Red Heat from Russia. There are other AK brands from other countries too. Frankly, would be kind of fun to do a little research episode and kind of catalog those and talk about them a little bit because you can't get a lot of that stuff here. But anyhow, you have those from Russia, and then of course from Russia you have Zenico, which is probably the most visible. I have an Armacon handguard. You've seen that here on the channel. I used to have some Zenico. I sold most of it off. I still have a charging handle. Kept that, but outside of that, I sold off. Yeah, that's actually the only Zenico I have left. And I mean, yeah, sure, profit was a motivating factor to it, but also, I mean, the amount of options you have was a motivating factor too. And so, a few years ago, just looking for other options when I, first became aware. This was a little bit after I first became aware of Zentico, probably a year or two after I first became aware of Zentico, maybe. I started looking into other options, and I learned of Crook. So, um, first thing I did was try to find out how to get some here. So found out there was a little here every now and again when someone got a shipment, and so I found out how to get some of that, and so I ended up getting one of the handguards. So these have been around a few years now. Seeing these on a lot of people's rifles now. Still got my flashlight attached to it. Not really booping very much these days. I got a whole box of this shit here. It comes with your upper handguard as well. I love the optics mounts. The optics mounts are super fucking cool. Get my face out of the way. Will it focus on that? Yeah, check that out. So you got Allen screws here at the bottom. This thing locks in fucking tight. I love it. I love it. And also, one thing I actually like is it's slightly, because your AK sights are pretty much, unless you got a barrel, well, most of them are going to be canted, in some respect, most of them. Unless you got like a nice custom rifle from like Mario, Zach Schaefer, someone like that, or, you got a barrel or something like that, Ebach Armory, get some straight sights from them. You're going to have some canted sights on your fucking, trash washer. So one thing I like about this is it's actually slightly canted over to the side. So for a right-handed shooter, it's just slightly more, in line with your vision instead of having to like push your face in, so you don't have to get as tight of a cheek weld. Kind of a neat feature. Kind of a neat feature. Definitely not original, but it is something that is included on at least this particular one. They have a few different optics mounts now. There is a few different optics mounts, so I can't say that's a feature on all of them, but it is a feature on this one in particular. And I got a stock over here. I got the various little matching Picatinny adapters and stuff like that. And so, I started trying to collect that stuff. The stock I actually got more recently from Midwest Savage. If you have not seen Midwest Savage, go check Midwest Savage out on YouTube. You could also check him out on Instagram. He's been doing a podcast lately, actually. So, yeah, shout out. Definitely go check out Midwest Savage. He's a good guy. Jamie, awesome stuff. Met him at Kalashnikon, actually. So, he gave me a sticker. Actually, gave me a few stickers, but I like that sticker. I still liked Sesame Street a lot. Um, Kind of crazy that it would be considered woke now. Fucking A. Anyhow, so where are we at? Yeah, so anyhow, started trying to get some of this stuff in, started collecting bit by bit, and eventually was able to get that full rifle, except I had Bulgarian bifolder. That was a fucking awesome flood there. It's Bulgarian. It sounds like a fucking sci-fi movie race. Like they're half cybernetic fucking Xenu beings. Yeah, this is the Scientology movie. I have got this down. First Amendment can't sue the shit out of me for this one. Anyhow, so got my parts bit by bit, and one thing I was noticing off the bat is it was a lot more robust than Zenitco. All my Zenitco, I'm sure you have all had this experience if you have Zenitco. So you might have noticed with your own Zenitco some pretty significant scratching, maybe some pretty violent gouging. I don't mind, certainly experienced that. And that would be due to the material. The material is D16T. It is an analog of. Actually, it's not really an analog. It's a Russian alloy. It's an aluminum alloy, not dissimilar to like. It's not like 6061. It's not like 7075. It's more like 2024. So, yeah, it's not the greatest for mechanical applications. And if you're thinking, well, it's just a handguard, it's not a mechanical application. Yes, that is a mechanical application. The interface between your receiver and your handguard, that's a mechanical connection right there. So, it's going to experience impact. It will experience that. Even though you have a retainer in there, you are experiencing impact. And eventually, them little tiny granules, they do wear out. Will happen with most metal. Will happen. I mean, thing is with 7075, it's going to take like a fucking 100 years. When you have a more brittle material like D16T, it happens a lot quicker. So that's why you see very violent gouges and stuff like that in Zentico pretty often, and why you can tell a lot of Zentico owners don't really shoot their guns very much. You see some pretty cherry Zentico, which is pretty weird because also I think everybody will admit Zentico finishes not very good, not very good at all. So um, now in my personal day job, I do work with D16T, but it is mostly used as like spacers and stuff like that. It's not great for anything mechanical, like your B33, So, um, I'm not saying this is going to happen to you every single time. So don't be no internet alarmist or nothing like that, please. But, you know, it experiences some flex and some wear from being shot with you know, rather violent explosion right over it, and action and just moving around and running with it and everything. Eventually wear will happen, and eventually those handguards will come loose. Eventually. And if you are a pretty heavy shooter like, someone like me, that's not a very good thing to happen. I've seen a lot of very loose Zenitco, especially B33s, man. Um, Brittle materials can't take mechanical applications very well. Big reason why I was like, whatever with that stuff. Like, as soon as I started seeing all that, I was like, get the fuck out of here. Really? This stuff is that fucking cheap? This is what Fuller's hucking. What the fuck, man? I mean, I get that it was all that was available 10 years ago, but we're in 2024 now. At the time, I was like, man, we're in 2020. We don't need this fucking garbage when we can at the time, the AK thing was to be lurking on weird forums and making weird friends from weird countries that you're not exactly sure if that country you can't pronounce is the country that you can't pronounce that they're actually from, like so it's just how it was. So I was like, yeah, we don't need none of this. We got other stuff on the market. So I went in search of other stuff, started collecting all that Crook stuff, and I found it was just better stuff. It's just plain out better. They're using 6061. They're using 7075. Common, proven materials. Another big bonus also. Talk about those finishes. Yeah, I mean, even though it's not the most resilient thing on the fucking planet, you got real brand name Cerakote on here. Pretty goddamn cool. I mean, obviously, if you're a heavy user, you're gonna get scratches and stuff like that. It's gonna happen. Um, I mean, yeah, you're even gonna get gouging. It's gonna happen. But you know, at the very least, you can get a nice finish. And me personally, I'm Johnny Rattlecan. I love rattle canning my shit a lot. Uh, I mean, to the point where I almost got something against Cerakoting my rifles. I actually have my first rifle out right now for Cerakoting. I've never had a rifle Cerakoted in my life. Um, Mostly just because of a DIY ethic with myself. But anyhow, so you're getting proven materials 60, 61, 70, 75, depending on what part you're buying. You're getting water jet cut parts. That's real nice because, the other thing is they are using a variety of old school CNCs with Zenitco because, I mean, well, you can see video of their Hong Kong factory. It's just traditional CNCs. Here you're getting water jet cut stuff, real clean real clean shit, honestly. So you're getting better material, you're getting better machining, you're getting a better finish in the end. Personally, I will say that the B33 design is really cool. It's really neato. It's just neat. It's Russian and ghetto. It's a cool solution. It's just too chonky. It's just too heavy. It's not great. So I think the design is a little better with Crook. You don't have any of that clunky Soviet thought, that you do with Zenitco, because I mean that's what I will call that shit, even though they're obviously not a Soviet company. This shit's clunky. That's one thing of Soviet manufacturing that was very hallmark was its clunkiness. It's real big, it's real loud, it's real fucking nasty. And it's kind of Zenitco, man. But when it comes down to like a tactical part, you kind of don't want that stuff. So I mean, it's cool. It's cool if you want like fucked up looking and huge and chonky. Yeah, I think that's neat. I think that's neat, actually. That aspect of it I very much like. That weird ghetto B33 shit I think is cool. But in the end of the day, this is just a smarter setup. It weighs a lot less. You can get on your draw a lot quicker. You can run farther with your gun because I mean, you start putting all that shit on it, it's gonna weigh something no matter what. But one big thing is, Zenitco is oversized. We all know that, and that is due to the material. If a material that brittle was the size that it, like a regular spec, like every other handguard, because, for example, this little part right here is what retains the handguard on a Crook. The Armicon handguards use a similar system, actually the exact same system. So you slip this into your receiver, handguard slips on that, then you got as close to free floating as you possibly can, except you do have a little piece that clamps around the barrel, so it's not completely free floating. But so this thing from Crook slips right in. Every single rifle I have, no problemo, goes right in there, not a worry. After you button everything up, no no rattling, no nothing like that. Armicon, uh, that was actually, that actually the handguard I have is definitely not D16T. It appears like it might be probably 6061. I would take a wild swing that Red Heat is Armicon stuff is probably made in China. A lot of Russian stuff is made in China. A lot of the Russian stuff is made in India. So yeah, it was very clearly not using D16T, and actually their little interfacing part slipped in very well too. I didn't have to do any filing. Slight tap with a gunsmithing hammer, but the Crook one slips right in every rifle I have, no problemo. With the Zenitco stuff, we all know the famous fucking videos of Anastasia with the mallet just pow, 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 going, fucking making these excuses like, to ensure proper fitment, you have to use mallet, blah, 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 blah. And look, girl, you can just say it. You had to make it oversized because if it was a proper spec, the shit would wear away too fast and it would become loose very, very quick. So, yeah, you're getting a shit fucking material. Design at the time when it was designed, I don't think it was bad. So I'm not going to say it was bad design, but clunkier design, trash finishes, so you know all that from Zenico. So if this was going to be some kind of Zenico versus Crook video, it's not a contest. If you're in it for looks, then go suck yourself off. That fucking lame. Fucking lame, dude. If you buy parts because of what they look like, fucking lame, bro. Because I actually straight up have heard someone say they didn't buy a Crook handguard because they didn't like how it looked, and they bought Zenico because they like how it looked. Bro, what? Brother, what? I'm sorry. I'm a little older than the Instagram era here. I'm a little older than TikTok. I mean, I know I'm retaining these beautiful looks, but I'm like 100. I I can't get down with that. I mean, I don't know if you can go down the road of calling that fuddy, but I can't get down with that. Buying parts because you like how they look. Nah. I mean, I'll appreciate how something looks without buying it because of how it looks. Because if it looks cool but functions like shit, then like I don't see a reason to buy it. I don't get it. Explain it to me. What like nobody, none of y'all got fucking clout. Like, what the fuck you buying that shit for? So, when it gets down to it, you can, yeah, their muzzle brakes are actually very effective. So, if you were going to argue effectiveness, efficacy of muzzle brakes, then sure, we could get into a debate there because the DTKs are not bad compensators whatsoever. The only reason I would argue to get something like a Strela, honestly, here's also fucking proof that my shit predated his fucking the whole fucking wave of Crook stuff. Yeah, this is an old school Sputnik. Yeah, they don't even make these anymore. But Anyhow, if you're going to talk about efficacy of like muzzle brakes, then yeah, sure, we could get into that because I mean, I would only go for the Strela because $60. I own a lot of compensators, and I mean, dude, this thing is it is more effective than every other compensator I have. That is for sure. It's very much more effective than a JMac. It is very much. I've tried a couple of the unrivaled, but I haven't been able to AB them. But every rifle I put this thing on, they shoot flat. So no complaints there. I mean, it definitely does its job. The only other thing I prefer other than this for 60 goddamn dollars is an AMD 65 brick because you can get those for $20 and that will flat your shot out goddamn plenty. That's a fantastic compensator. So I mean, I highly recommend both of them, honestly. But if you like the Zenicos, go for it, man. Go for it. You can get a fine knockoff from Palmetto. You can get a perfectly fine knockoff from Palmetto, and it works just as good. I mean, works just as good. So, I mean, it's not magic. There's, I mean, I'm not trying to shit on JMac or nothing, but there's no reason for an RD4C to be $120. It's not. I mean, it's not as effective as a $60 Strela. I will say that. So if it's manufacturing costs, then man, I'd say that fucking thing is left in the dust at this point. There was a point where it was like the best thing on the market because there wasn't a lot on the market in 14 by 1 left hand or your 24 and 26 millimeter threads. So yeah, JMac definitely saved the day, but you have a lot of options these days. And I don't see the need to spend double. I don't want this to go on for crazy long. Just a little talk today about, quality versus quality, really. Just looking at that comment, I mean, I just not with it. Broke for Zenitco? No, I just don't want inferior stuff on my gun when we have access to superior stuff for our guns that's cheaper. It's just fucking logic, bro. Big example. Like, let's just say you liked the way pistols looked and you were shopping on the way they looked. And then someone presents you a Springfield Prodigy. And you're like, damn, that's a really good looking gun. And then, they show you like a Glock 19 and they're just like, damn, that's a very square gun. But like off the bat, if you were just gonna say, hey, would you want one or the other? Like the other, you want the Prodigy, you want the Glock? Take the fucking Glock all goddamn day long, all damn day, bro. Straight up. I mean, I ain't never seen no Prodigy that ran fucking A, dude. Not to talk trash. Sorry, Jose. I know you run a Prodigy, but man, every single one of those things I've seen does not run very well. Um, it's that same experience I personally see with the staccatos, dude. I don't see a whole lot of them run all that great. I mean, I do see them run fine on a regular basis, but fucking give him some real man's ammo like some fucking Blazer and shit, man. Gun shit's the bed. For if it can't eat steel, it ain't good enough for brass, and I feel with pistols, like if it can't eat Blazer, it ain't good enough for anything else. Fuck your weird competition loads, I don't like that. Your very specific ammo you have to run, one goddamn round you can run. Fuck all that, dude. I'm not trying to revolve my life around a goddamn round, man. So yeah, if it can't eat that shit, then I don't fucking want the gun. Straight up. Cause like that Glock 34 I just built, man. I mean, I'm not fucking Mr. Glocko, but like that gun runs so fucking well, dude, and it eats trash ammo. I'm doing really well with it already. It's shooting fantastic, and I haven't even done any of the spring work to it. It's right now completely just basically a factory Glock 34. This week I'm actually going to do some spring work to it. I'm just dropping a 15-pound recoil spring in there. Glocks have a 18 factory. And then I am going to throw a Timney trigger in there and a trigger spring and a tungsten guide rod, and probably just call it a day because I don't like to go too crazy with any gun. Really, I'm rattle can Johnny definitely, and I'm definitely a factory Johnny too. I really like a factory gun. I can't really explain why. Um, Obviously, I like personalizing my guns, but I mean, you just can't really beat the reliability of a factory gun. It's true. So I don't do too much to myself, really. I'm usually just trigger and rifles. I mean, yeah, just trigger and a compensator, and I'm good to go. I mean, really, and these days, my normal thing is like wire folder, ALG, and just whatever compensator, But if one it does a job 10% better than the other, I don't care anymore. I'm fine. I mean, um, I pretty much just put together my rifles on the fly and fucking fly out the door. My entire life revolving around a specific grain of ammo is what happens if I run out? There's a shortage of that particular grain. What happens if I'm reloading and I don't have primers for that or whatever, and I have to buy some Monarch or something like that? That's the way I look at it. I want to be able to reliably run off the lowest quality shit. Except for that weird Winchester. I don't know what that brown box Winchester where like you have to lube the rounds. Have you seen this shit? I accidentally bought some of this stuff in a hurry on the way to Kalashnikon one year, and a couple people actually. I was gonna say, who the fuck was it that floated me some ammo? A couple people floated me ammo actually for the day. Gave me a couple, 50 boxes here and there so I could get through. I got that fucking weird Winchester ammo that was like it's like dusty out of the box. Like I don't know what the fuck is up with that. And like I literally like I ran it, none of it would cycle. I literally had to spray it down with oil just to get it to actually run. And then it fucking dirtied up the magazine so bad, dude. I don't know what is up with that shit, but like literally it just fucked me so bad. I just threw it all in the trash and then fucking somebody gave me some ammo for the day so I can get through. Very nice of them. Couple people, excuse me. So thank you, people at Kalashnikon. Um, so yeah, that's about the only shit I'm not gonna buy. But yeah, man. Look, I don't care about your staccato. I don't care about your goddamn aliens. I don't care about your fucking atlases and all that shit. Be a man. Buy some blazer. Now y'all stay safe. Have fun. Do stupid.